Ladies and gentlemen, it's lightning round. It's Kevin Tompkins. It's Britt, Flinn, Andrew Cooper. It is best ball with the family. Britt, Coop, how we doing?
I'm so good. I mean, I've been doing best balls all day. I wrote an article about it. Like, I am fully immersed in best ball mode. So, you turkeys better be on your best behavior.
However
I'm
Britt's
gonna
doing,
crush.
I'm doing better. No matter how good it is, I'm doing slightly gooder.
Slightly gooder.
Because I'm more gooder at best ball, Britt. How do you feel about that?
I feel like, some people have a heightened sense of their ability.
How do you feel about that screenshot I sent you guys earlier? That was literally me, number one, finishing. So we did a draft last year, just like this. Me, number one, Kevin Tompkins, number two, Chris Sellers, who you know intimately, Britt, number three. And then, Britt, where did you finish in that screenshot? Do you remember?
I didn't even see the screenshot.
You had to expand the screenshot. You were down there at 11. You didn't come in 12th, but 11, not too bad, right?
You know what? Sometimes
shabby.
you got to risk it to take the biscuit, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But that doesn't mean that I was bad in the rest of the things that I did.
We did like 50 of these. I picked the one. I went out of my way to find the one where like me, Kev, and Sellers did really well, and you did not do good.
Yeah, the one.
I'll admit there were a couple that you might have beat me in, but that one, that you got to admit that screenshot's funny. No.
I'm gonna have to look at all the drafts and just take a tally. We'll have to do like a NASCAR point system with all our drafts and see what goes on. At least for this year, I'm totally down for that. But our chat is hopping here. Apparently, people do think we are an NBA stream.
Go basketball. Yeah, go Celtics. Come on. The Celtics need your help right now, chat. Come on. We need you. We lost the Bruins here in Boston. We need you. We need you to,
is Jaylen
lift
Brown
up the
still
seas.
Wearing the Phantom of the Opera mask?
He has to, dude. He's the new Rip Hamilton.
Rip Hamilton?
He's Black Mask Rip Hamilton, dude. And I'm here for it.
I mean, I suppose I'll allow it. And in the chat, we got, of course, Mr. Sellers in here, Brian, and Trent. We appreciate you. In the chat with this best ball. I should probably enter this, huh? So we can get this shindig going. Why don't you
get in there, dude.
For anybody that wants to get in these drafts in the future.
Yes, anyone that wants to get in, we're doing these with Fantasy Alarm members. So Chris Sellers in the chat, he's in. Jamie, I see you in the chat. Jamie is in this draft, absolutely, and is in the next one. She couldn't get in tonight for this particular draft. They fill pretty quick. Once guys like Howard Bender and the gang, wow, Jamie gets the first pick. That's how, if you join the chat, dude, you get extra special treatment. That's how it works. If you do want to join, here's what you do. You go to fantasyalarm.com/underdog, or just go to Underdog and use promo code FantasyAlarm and sign up. They'll match up to 100% of your deposit, up to $100. And then you're signed up for that. You could do the puppy, do all these other drafts with strangers, or you can come join us in the Fantasy Alarm Discord, where you can draft with me, Kevin Tompkins, Britt Flinn, Howard Bender, John and Pemba. Jim Bowden's going to do one with us live on Sirius XM potentially. So we're doing all this right now. You got to be a Fantasy Alarm member to get in those special ones. Obviously, if you just want to sign up for Underdog and draft with whoever and who cares, then you could do that. But if you want to draft with us, get signed up with Fantasy Alarm. Right now, we've got a bunch of promo codes. I prefer promo code COOP, COOP, gets you 50% off next 6 months. All sports, not just football. We talk about everything, Knicks, all that. But enough ads. Let's talk about football. First off the board, Jamar Chase. How do you guys feel about that? Justin Jefferson always goes first. Jamar Chase won? Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with whatever you think that you're okay. Like, we saw Jonathan Taylor going first off the board last season, and we kind of scoffed and guffawed at anybody who wasn't taking JT. So if that's who you believe, who's going to be number one overall, like, by all means, let's do this. I also have to bring up, do y'all realize that me and Sellers are back to back, and we are going to be sniping the ever-loving hell out of each other? And this is going to get nasty.
Right when I saw that, I could just cross Treylon Burks off my board entirely. So, like, it's not happening here. I will say that last year, shout out John and Pemba, absolute sports maniac, Fantasy Alarm editor, and the guy that makes everything run on time. He was taking Austin Eckler at times at one, and boy, was he right about that.
Yep. That's why you zig when others zag. Because if you fully believe and you have that process and you think that is going to be the guy, then do it. And that's what's going to differentiate you with everybody else in all of these best ball drafts.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, as far as get your guy, Jefferson Chase, for me, Jefferson Chase, CMC are all kind of interchangeable. Bijan Robinson going at 1.4 to Howard, and he's going about at 1.8, 1.9, 107, that kind of range. Would not surprise me if we're doing drafts in August and he is like a locked in consensus 104. Like, that's just the way everything's going right now with the rookie black box, the mystery box, if you will. I mean, there's not much mystery about Bijan Robinson. We know if he plays 16, 17 games, he's going to get 300 carries. We know the Falcons want to run the ball into the Stone Age. So I don't hate it, but he gives me the Ezekiel Elliott vibes where, remember his rookie season, he was getting steamed in the back end of the first round. Or is he Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I mean, he's certainly way better prospect than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but these rookie running backs that have that path to so much opportunity get steamed into the first round. And Bijan is the new Zeke Elliott as far as that goes.
Why not, though? I mean, like Saquon Barkley, people were drafting at the end of the first round. They were winning their leagues that year. And shout out Trent in the chat. Trent, I didn't realize you were Chauncey, dude, from the Discord and from the Fantasy Alarm family. Cheers, brother. Howard is going to try and get on. He's been having some internet trouble, though. I would put the odds of, based on the recent internet trouble that he's had, I'd put the odds pretty low. But he's at least joining us in the draft. His first pick, Bijan Robinson. So he's the guy that made that move. We see you, Trant, there taking CMC. Love that pick. I'm back on the clock. I took Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler, a player that Pat Carrane won $2 million last year as a zero RB guy that took a running back in the first round. So shout out.
Call that bimodal in the streets. You can put whatever label you want on that. He took Eckler and Barkley, I believe.
Yeah, I'm doing a move right now that's very unpopular with the kids these days with all the wide receivers being taken. I went running back. Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor. Now I'm just going to draft wide receivers probably for the rest of the night. It's going to be, I can kick back and relax and just pick orange for the rest of the day.
And I just completed my stack getting Stephon Diggs and then grabbing Josh Allen, which is, if you read my article on Fantasy Alarm today, is something that I said you had to do. If you wanted one of these high tier stacks, you were going to have to go first round, second round, and then fill out later. But I got it. I did it.
Yeah. And I think that's a very interesting decision point when you're talking about these quarterbacks, at least three with Hurts, Mahomes, Allen. Like, how rich is too rich for these quarterbacks? When you're talking the elite, you've got elite, those three are obviously elite quarterbacks. You got Lamar, Justin Fields, Burrow, Herbert. I would say Trevor Lawrence might be like the bridge between the tiers there, but you can kind of go both ways on that. But I think I'm not going to be very high rostered on any of these guys across. If I'm doing multiple best ball drafts, I can't imagine having a lot of those just because the price is so prohibitive.
It is, but I wanted to try out different builds. And you talk about the guys, like if you're the 101 or 102 in this case, and you get Justin Jefferson, then you can get Kirk Cousins at like QB 14. And that's great. Like, you have so much upside with that. But if you go ahead and grab Diggs, I feel like as high as quarterbacks have been going in all of these best ball drafts, if Josh Allen is right there and he falls to you, you almost have to take him, because otherwise you're just going to be scrambling down the line to like complete your stacks.
I'll tell you guys right now that just living in New England, right? Like, and you have exposure to a lot of different, but even before best ball, exposure to a lot of different people doing like crazy builds, especially when you're like a homer, that sometimes if you just take the right couple guys or the right group of guys, you just destroy your league. There was a year that my buddy took Tom Brady and Randy Moss, and Tom Brady threw 50 touchdowns and Randy Moss caught 23 touchdowns. He was untouchable that year. There was a time that the same thing happened and Gronk caught 18 touchdowns. There was a time that one of my buddies took Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and Alvin Kamara, and I think he might have gone undefeated. So like, there are times, if you believe in that setup, if you believe in Josh Allen to Diggs, which I mean, they didn't really go crazy. I love Dalton Kincaid, but is he a guy that's going to have 1,400 yards, 1,300 yards? I don't think so. So I think it's going to be very much the same where they just lean on that. So it could very well happen that way. So I'm not opposed to it. But you just made your bet just now, Britt, right? Like that.
I made
your
my bet and I'm lying in it.
Exactly. Which, hey, that's a good place to be.
Yeah, and I'm looking through this stretch. I took Tony Pollard. I wanted Devonta Smith, but I figured I could probably push him off to the other end of the turn. Took Pollard, still got Devonta Smith, so very happy with that. I'm very curious with Breece Hall and Travis Etienne going before Ramondre Stevenson. Ramondre is one of the guys that I wrote about in my best ball targets on Fantasy Alarm as far as a guy that can be a top 5, top 6 running back just based on who is behind him. Because we're looking at James Robinson, who the Athletic did say may not even make the roster in their initial projection. And then also Peter Strong. Coop, I know he's your boy, but I mean, there's a clear path here for top 5, top 6 workload for Ramondre Stevenson, right?
I mean, I look at it and I say, hey, the old Erhardt Perkins system, Kev, that we like to joke about.
The Hufflepuff
Gryffindor system. Like, that seems to be, they're okay being flexible about it. It's not a strict 2-back system. We watched Josh Jacobs be a megastar. We watched Ramondre Stevenson be a megastar. I know Cordell Patterson, the week 1, did get like 4 targets on his like few snaps, but I think they're okay with going that route. So I have no problem drafting Mondre. I have no problem drafting Josh Jacobs. Where in past years, I would just say, no thank you to the early down back on the Patriots. I would draft James White in my PPR leagues because while James White was in the league during his career, no running back caught more passes over that span. No running back.
RB7 in like 2018.
Exactly. I'm on the clock here, so why don't you guys take it here while I debate who I'm going to take here.
Yeah, taking a look right now at what Coop's got going on.
It's easy pick for me.
Jonathan Taylor.
Easy pick for me, T. Higgins.
Yep. And Sellers taking Ridley like before Higgins is really puzzling to me because Ridley hasn't played in 2 seasons and Higgins has been a known producer. So I think that T. Higgins pick was absolutely, I mean, slapping you in the face.
Yeah. So here's the thing is Ridley, John and Pemba on the Quick Out podcast today explained why he's so very much in on Ridley. And this pick is easy for me. I'm taking Amari Cooper with my next pick here. Number 1 wideout for Deshaun Watson. He was wide receiver 10 last year, playing with Jacoby Brissett and Rusty Watson. So we'll see what happens. But with Calvin Ridley, I mean, it's hard to argue against it in the 3rd round too. Like you can say, oh, you want Higgins ahead or you want so-and-so ahead, but we like Trevor Lawrence. We think Ridley's the best wide receiver on the team. Sometimes 1 + 1 is 2, Britt.
Oh my God. My husband just sniped me and I hate it.
I know. See, that's what I'm saying.
What does Bender say? No sugar tonight?
That's
no sugar tonight, buddy.
The family strife is going to be real here.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
That's what it's like in the Flinn Sellers household tonight.
That one doesn't miss, dude. So, Brian in the chat, you bet, I'm guessing. I know a lot of the guys in this group, they're all Fantasy Alarm members. Like Voico is scary. Icy through scary. I'm doing a slow draft with those guys right now, and they're honestly annoying the hell out of me. They're picking guys, because they're Fantasy Alarm members, so they're behind the paywall. They see who I write about too. So they not only have their own takes, but they know my takes. That drives me nuts, dude. So that's why this is going to be a good mix, right? We have analysts, we have Fantasy Alarm members, and then we have your husband Sellers, who is just a nightmare to draft with because ADP doesn't matter to him, right? He doesn't care.
Nope. He just takes his guys, which again is so important because you can find those diamonds in the rough, like Cooper Kupp 2 years ago, who was going like in round 4, 5, or sometimes even 6, and ended up being the wide receiver 1. Like ADP be damned. If this is your guy, go get your guy.
Howard just took the Masked Singer.
You guys gonna let Lamar Jackson go 16 picks after ADP? I'm gonna take him every time.
I got him in the Fantasy Alarm slow draft back to back Bing Bang, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews at 48 and 49. There's no chance I don't win that one. I'm gonna win all of these, honestly. I'm gonna win every single one of them.
How are you gonna win if I win?
Or if
All
I
right,
win.
Cal Naughton Jr. I'm winning them all. I don't win them all. No big
Shake
deal.
and bake.
I
What do
wouldn't
you
worry
think?
about it.
I'm on the clock, but what do you think about Hawkinson going over Andrews? I mean, personally, I've been all over Hawkinson this entire off season, but over Andrews, I mean, I don't know if that's a little. Spicy,
It's getting a bit murky, right? So we obviously loved Hawkinson last year because he got traded to a team that the second best wide receiver was KJ Osborne. Now Jordan Addison we like. So now Hawkinson Moore is in the same tier for me as Dallas Goedert and George Kittle, where it's very clearly highly consolidated among the top three guys, but the wide receivers are probably going to get more targets. If I had to bet now, it's hard for me to bet. I would rather bet Hawkinson against a rookie than Dallas Goedert against AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, right? So like you gotta put him ahead, but now they're in that mix, man. It's the plight of the tight end. The window is open for short periods unless you're a super mega star like Travis Kelce. Like that's the dream. You have to sit there and imagine a world where a team looks at the tight end and says, we don't need wide receivers because we have Travis Kelce. We don't need wide receivers. We have Jimmy Graham. We have Zach Ertz. We have Tony Gonzalez. Very rarely does that happen. So, now Mark Andrews also kind of falling into that group. At least they're going to throw him over Tom Munkin though. So I don't know. Britt, Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, you have to pick one right now. Go.
I think you have to pick Mark Andrews, although it is a very slim margin. Just because they have Rashad Bateman, who has looked good when he's on the field, but hasn't been able to really produce due to injury. You've got Odell Beckham, who hasn't really played in 2 years. And then you have Zay Flowers, who's a rookie, who no matter how talented he is, he's going to have rookie mistakes. So I think Mark Andrews comes out on top as far as the top target there, but it is a very, very narrow margin.
Yeah, I mean, I've been all over Hawkinson as far as just how condensed that offense is. And then, Baltimore is kind of the opposite. They play a lot of guys. They play a fullback, Patrick Ricard more than 55%. And I think he was second in team snaps last year behind Mark Andrews. So, they're going to be switching out tight ends. They're going to be switching out wide receivers. They got like a million punt returners outside of their top wide receivers, like Devin Duvernay and all those guys. Maybe Zay Flowers mixes into that. But if I'm going to be targeting any Baltimore Raven, it's Mark Andrews. And I feel like we know he's getting the targets. Hawkinson kind of has to split, but I think just the condensed nature of that offense, I think they're back to back, and I don't really have a preference over those two. I think those two are in lockstep for that second tier behind Travis Kelce. So, I mean, as far as exposure wise, I'll probably mix up between the two, but I have no problem with Hawkinson over Andrews. I think they're both pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, historically speaking, I'll tell you this. If there is a situation where but we don't know who's going to get the most targets, and it could be even among all the pass catchers, give me the tight end. It's like we did last year with Evan Engram. We looked at it, we said, is it Christian Kirk? Is it Zay Jones? Is it Evan Engram? Turns out it was a little mix of all of them. But I can only start one of those guys in my tight end spot. The positional scarcity gives you the advantage, right? So if we don't know who it's going to be out of Mark Andrews or just auto-drafted George Kittle. God damn soliloquy.
All time you went elite tight end.
I was going to take Kyle Pitts. I was thinking about it. I was mostly thinking about having this tight end conversation. But this is what I do is I look at it and I say, okay, let's look at the Giants, right? Who's going to lead that team in targets? We don't know. We don't know for sure. It could be Wan'Dale Robinson, could be Paris Campbell, could be any one of Sterling Shepard, any one of their million slot guys, could be Jalen Hyatt, could be Isaiah Hodgins, could be Darren Waller. So when you say Darren Waller, one of those players you can start at tight end, right? Same thing with the Texans. I look at them saying Nico Collins, John Mechie, blah, 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 Robert Woods, or Dalton Schultz. If all things are equal, if they all score the same amount of fantasy points, the guy that's tight end is the most valuable. So that's kind of how I make those decisions. If you really truly believe in one player, say you're a big Wan'Dale Robinson fan, then draft for Wan'Dale Robinson. But you better be right, because if they score the same amount of points, then Waller's a better player.
And that's what's so funny about the construction of Underdog right now. The wide receiver, you have to start 3. So it kind of skews the way that normal leagues are set up in Underdog, because you kind of have to attack that wide receiver position first, just so that you're not left with kind of all the scrubs. Oh, Bender, you broke Kevin's heart.
Dude, Bender has. I wish.
What are you doing?
I wish Bender was on. I wish Bender's internet was working. I see him. He at least got into the chat here. He's got. I'm telling you, Howard doesn't always get it, but he got the rookie fever this year. I was talking. Britt, you were on talking to him the other morning too. He's in on these rookies. You got to be careful around Howard, dude, because he's buying. He's buying.
That's the thing with rookies too, though. Like rookie wide receivers take a little while to develop and to deliver. Now, in best ball, that's fine. But when you're taking them in the 6th round, that's kind of pricey. These rookie running backs have like a clearer path to immediate touches than the wide receivers do. And so sometimes I think that being all in on that rookie fever can be a little bit of an Achilles heel.
We'll see. Right now, it's opportunity based. But Kev, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I just took him, like he was going 13 picks over ADP, so I'm getting a round discount on JSN, where I would not touch him in the 5th round where he typically goes. I have a longer leash seeing him here and being able to take him. You know what? I'm going to take Tyler Lockett as well. So that's a clear bet on Seattle there. I'm very happy with that. So.
I'm taking Geno next round.
I was going to say, everybody target Geno.
Coming over there.
Everybody target Geno.
Yeah. No, but I love that because one of them is going to get a full-time snap share at least. And we're talking about upside games. I mean, like, that's the thing about rookies is we just never quite know who's going to be the guy that has monster games, right? Like, you're kidding yourself if you knew for sure.
Oh my God, Howard.
I know. I saw that coming out of the Traylon Burks pick. I had him in my queue too.
He's just spite drafting right now.
I know. He's the devil.
I quit. Can I quit? Can I quit right now?
No, you can't. Contractually obligated to continue this draft. I tell you, though, you get these guys in here, man, they're ruthless, dude. Bry Guy, like Chauncey, dude, monsters. So, and of course, Howard. But what I was going to say is that, like, you never know. Like, you're kidding yourself if you knew for sure that Justin Jefferson was going to be a megastar as a rookie and Jalen Reagor was going to do nothing. Nobody knew that for sure. Like, you could suggest that you thought that Justin Jefferson was going to be better than Jalen Reagor, but to say you knew for sure, you're lying. Because any one of these guys that were drafted could be good. That's why they were drafted. There's no single player where we could sit here and say, all these guys, 200 and something guys got picked, this one guy is going to suck. You don't know that. You really, truly don't. Because we don't know these people, you know? Like, any one of these players could be good. Except for Darnell Washington.
I just want to say I'm gonna play a clip right now, and I want you to just take the person who they're responding to. Just put Bender's name in.
Well, Goot Coons, pack your shit and get out of town, okay? Because everyone who's a Packers fan hates you right now, pal.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, he's spite sniping everybody.
Oop,
I don't like it.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't want you to auto draft another tight end.
All right, settle down.
And looking at these wide receivers, I mean, we if you listen to the Quick Out podcast today, Coop and John and Pemba talked about the big tier of wide receivers. Once you get to like the Courtland Suttons, it's coming up. It is a huge, like even bigger than, because usually it's a gradual tier where you start getting into some of maybe the day 2 rookies and veterans with a lot of questions. I mean, there are questions about everybody, but once you start getting into like wide receiver 45, like it is a cliff.
Oh my God. Thank God Ponce just took Daniel Jones, because I wanted to stack Deshaun Watson with Amari Cooper so bad. And I was like, no way he doesn't take a QB here. He took the other one. Whew. We live, baby, we live.
Britt, what do you think about that wide receiver, that big tier?
Well,
break?
It's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. The way that Underdog is structured, you have to start 3. And that kind of lends itself to a very heavy run on wide receivers earlier. And you can still get these guys, like, especially now that the NFL does basically running backs by committee outside of like 5 teams. And so outside of that, like, yeah, take your wide receivers and then get your running backs later. So if you take the opposite roster construction, it is hell out here.
Yeah, it's so difficult to decide whether to zig or zag. I can say this. Going through it today on the Quick Out podcast, man, wide receivers are going early bird special. Even if the top guys go with the, people doing hero RB, they fly. So there's a certain point where you do hit it's like the RBs back in the day. You do hit a wide receiver dead zone now. Like I look at this screen and I'm just like, wish I had taken more wide receivers earlier. But there are some guys later I like. So we'll see if we can piece this together. Yeah. Zay Flowers, Britt, you in? You a Boston College gal?
I mean, I am in on Zay. I think, like I said earlier, the Rashad Bateman situation has never been really proven a full season. Odell Beckham hasn't played, in almost 2 years. There's going to have to be a number 2 there. And if I would have been able to get Lamar, I would have taken him. But I wasn't. So we're just going to diversify positionally and try to get the 2 best off of that team while still profiting off of that little stack that I did in Buffalo.
So I got to ask you guys a question. I know Kanye West isn't cool anymore, but is it still okay for me to name my team and I heard him Zay?
I don't even get that reference. So
you do what you want, dude.
And I heard him Zay. Nothing's ever promised tomorrow today. You guys know Kanye for you guys?
No, I'm a Swiftie. No Kanye. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to check. I'll have to check the Swift songs to see if we can find any Say lyrics in there.
I mean, if nobody's gonna do it,
what are you doing?
If we're out here taking 39-year-old quarterbacks,
you got to take. Yeah, you got to take.
Well, of course, Bender got Rodgers. Like, of course he did.
And you took him over your boy Gino with the big stack, huh?
Yeah, positional value. Like Richardson, I know he's a high riser and all that, but getting him and Lamar, what's contrarian really is you don't have to have the quarterback and the wide receivers. Like you can play just the wide receivers, especially in like tournaments. Like that is totally viable, and that's actually going to differentiate you from other people. You're able to get the quarterback that's not tied to, those wide receivers. So I'm totally fine with that.
Every single player is viable on their own. That's a fact. Mm-hmm. Everyone.
What do I want to do here?
I think that's what we're all wondering.
Take Kirk Cousins. You need 3 QBs.
That is the way to get the most projections, but
Yeah, I like that Njoku pick. I mean, it's Njoku versus Elijah Moore for second targets on that team. Elijah Moore, a cast off from a team that's win now. A guy that was complaining last year about targets while they were on a 3-game win streak.
Yeah.
Just not, I don't know, man. Obviously you believe in the turning things around, but most guys that turn things around have something else within their life that they've turned around as well, to be honest. Like you look at Darren Waller, you look at Chris Carter, right? Like Chris Carter had problems. He fixed those problems and he was a megastar. Maybe Elijah Moore falls in the same group and he can fix those problems. But there's been quite a few times where I see a guy like Martavis Bryant change teams, and the second team is like, hey, this guy, I can see why you didn't want him around, So we'll have to see with him, but I'm willing to bet against that and bet on David Njoku,
Have a kid. That usually works.
Oldest trick in the book.
It really is.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Icy through Voido, Brian. Charbonnet, man, I still kind of like the Charbonnet pick just because I've seen too many times where talent wins out. What do you got? How do you guys feel about that? I like it in Dino.
I don't think that you can argue that Kenneth Walker isn't just, if not more talented as Kenneth Walker, though.
In different ways, though. So when you hear Pete Carroll talk, he's like, they're going to be fighting tooth and nail for that pass catching part of the role. So if Kenneth Walker is going to be on early downs and Zach Charbonnet is going to be on pass catching downs, who do we want?
Then why draft Kenny McIntosh, who was the craziest, bestest pass catcher out of Georgia? If he really believes that they are going to be competing for passing down work, I don't believe that in a second.
You don't know if Zach Charbonnet,
maybe Kincaid a little ahead of ADP to get a Buffalo super stack here.
Double bet hedge where you say maybe Charbonnet sucks, but clearly if they're drafting two pass catching backs though, then clearly they're interested in adding that
archetype
part of the game. Right. They should have just signed Kareem Hunt. That was what I said they should have done. But what do I know about being a GM? I'm going to take Michael Thomas here. Love taking Michael Thomas. Addicted to it.
Yeah, if I'm as a noted ageist, if I am banging the drum for Michael Thomas as well, that should tell you where you should be on him.
Never seen him be bad, only hurt.
Yeah, every time he's been on the field, he's been #good.
Same as it's just like Christian McCaffrey last year. He's only been good.
I will attest for my knees. Once you're hurt, you're hurt.
Well, I mean, Tony Romo did say, have you ever met someone that used to have a bad back? But the thing with the hurt part is that Michael Thomas, actually, I did this whole thing on the Quick Out podcast. Listen to the Quick Out podcast from today. I break down the entire injury timeline of Michael Thomas. But last year, the toe injury, it wasn't even his big toe. It was his toe next to his big toe. So tell me how the high ankle sprain on his other foot, not the same foot, on his other foot caused him to hurt his second big toe, Britt. Tell me how.
You walk funny.
Well, he's done walking funny.
Compensating.
Well, they just fixed the other side.
Injuries.
Okay, compensation injuries are definitely a real thing for certain injuries, for patellar tendon injuries and the calf injuries that come on the other side. But in this case, now they've fixed both sides. I've seen him deadlift, based on my eye test, roughly a bazillion pounds, right? So, I mean, you saw it, dude. There's all sorts of different colored plates on there. So I think Michael Thomas is ready. He scored 3 touchdowns in 3 games. He was on pace for 90 receptions, which was the same as DK Metcalf, top 10 in the league. And I've seen this guy be the best wide receiver in the entire world. And it was not that long ago. So, Michael Thomas, come on down on my team. Best friends forever, the two of us.
If Howard snipes me here, he's dead to me.
I think Howard is literally going out of his way to try and hurt our feelings.
He is searching our articles. He is searching our names on Twitter. He is seeing who we talked about.
I know who he's going to take.
If he takes him,
he's going to take Chig. He's going to take Chig. Yeah, I told you, dude. He's trying to hurt our feelings. He took Chig within 1 second, dude. Like,
Howard and Sellers are both trying to hurt our feelings, because I just got a text from Sellers saying, "How's your stat going? LOL."
I guarantee he's chuckling. I guarantee he's chuckling to himself right now, dude, because he did this to me in the slow draft too, and he took 1 second to make that Chig pick, dude. And the thing this time, I accidentally took Kittle, so I'm okay with it, because I would have taken Chig with my last couple picks if I didn't already have a tight end that I accidentally spent up on. But it hurts to see him go, man. That's my guy. That's my guy right now. I'm gonna take Howard's guy if he picks again before I go. Unbelievable. I don't even know why we do these.
Because we're masochists.
So Scamp is on board with you, Britt, says the compensation injuries are real. And Brian is Bry Guy 47. In this, he is. Everyone should have the same. I was about to say everyone should have the same username for everything, but my name is Sauce McFloss on here, so I guess I can't complain. Brian is You Better You Bet. He says he wanted a chain. What are you guys in on him for as a rookie in best ball?
I love him.
Am I in on him?
Yeah, just go look at anything that Kevin has like dreamed or snored or anything. It's all on A Chain.
Can't break this chain.
Chain.
Look, his skill set is duplicative of Raheem Mostert. He is basically a 10 years younger Raheem Mostert. We know both him and Jeff Wilson have had injury history. Jeff Wilson's role in that offense as a bigger back is pretty insulated to me. So as long as he's there, he's going to get work, but it's going to be between Mostert and A-Chain. And I think A-Chain, just based on draft capital, is going to be able to get on the field. Look, he ran a faster 100-yard or 100-meter dash than Tyreek Hill, who is noted as the fastest player in the NFL. So we know Mike McDaniel is, all about that hot ass, nasty, badass, nasty speed, as Eleanor Roosevelt once said.
Yeah, in a letter.
Yeah.
We gotta get a clip of Fleetwood Mac. You must never break the chain to play whenever someone takes A chain.
Just have a Devin A chain highlights and just play that in the background.
And just play just the bass. Just play just the bass line.
Rick, can you tinkle it on the ivories there?
That was a great deep note, Coop.
You think I can make the band?
As a third string backup singer.
If you need somebody to play bass guitar with their mouse,
of the back of the
if you need somebody to do the vocal bass guitar, I'm available.
That's perfect. I love it.
All right. So you have to do.
Once I win, you have to sing that for me. Once I win with A chain.
Scampers, someone mods, please remove Scampers from the chat. These jokes, these Dan Earl jokes, they're inappropriate. We get them out. Scampers, get outside. You're an outside cat now.
So there is somebody up on the tight end rankings, and Coop, I did want to ask you about this because this is relevant. Juwan Johnson.
I'm up in 4 picks. Don't bring them up.
Okay. Well, I'll just get. Oh, fine. I'll wait then. I'm sorry.
You already did. You already did bring them up. And yes,
sniped one more damn time.
I think you'll avoid it. Coop, I think you'll avoid it. I think it'll be good. Then you can talk about your heart, or I can ask you the question. You can talk about your heart.
Sellers doesn't have a tight end yet. He could take him right now, and then we can talk about him.
Why would he draft him when he can draft? Oh, well, I mean, there's options out there. Okay, there you go.
There it is. All right, I will now take him. Me and Howard and I have talked about him at length.
Foster Moreau signed with them today, so does that change?
Doesn't matter for you. Doesn't matter. But I will say this: I'm rooting for Foster Moreau. Awesome. Yeah. You obviously root for John Mechie. You root for Foster Moreau. Good guys, and you want to see them get healthy, play again, succeed. Right. So I love that. Love that situation for those guys. So I got to make a pick real quick. I'm going to do this.
Foster Moreau, our generations added.
Hooray!
I swear to God.
Well, I have Michael Thomas, so obviously got to stack the Saints wide receiver 1 with their starting quarterback. But Juwan Johnson, who I also just took. So big double stack action going on here. I have been going back and forth on that player. I want him to play a bigger snap share. They paid him the kind of money that should see him play a good chunk of snaps at the slot. He's a converted wide receiver that plays tight end. We spent a lot of time, Kev, you remember? We were hitting up Yahoo Fantasy Cares to get them to change it to, we badgered multiple sites, Yahoo and Sleeper, until they changed it. Then everyone else followed suit to get that tight end eligibility. So he has a special place in my heart. I just need to see the snap share. I need to see more than 60%. He doesn't block much, so we got to see it go up, man. But, I believe, man. Anytime you can start a wide receiver at tight end, it's a good bet. And Britt, it seems like you wanted Carr. Looks like you bet your bet.
To you anymore. Talk to Kevin.
Britt wanted Derek
until the next round.
Kevin. Everyone wanted Derek Carr, an amazing pick. How do you feel about that pick?
I like it. I think they're going to run the ball, or they're going to pass the ball a little bit more now that they've got a presumably healthy Michael Thomas. I mean, Olave, Thomas, Juwan Johnson, Rashid Shaheed, throw in whatever random wide receiver you want to catch deep passes. I like it. With some ambiguity there in the backfield, I think it's going to lead, them to want to pass the ball just a little bit more. And obviously they have a capable quarterback to be able to do that. Certainly a upgrade over the Andy Dalton, experience from last year. But where he's going, Derek Carr is what, QB 21 right now? I don't think you can really poo-poo that.
Right. Exactly. And you guys, if you want to jump in here and annoy Britt the way that she is clearly annoyed right now, have fun yakking it up with us. We're actually going to be moving to a new time slot, folks. We're going to be keeping the same show, but we're now being aired on the Better Sports Network This has been confirmed. Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. So still on YouTube. So you join us on YouTube. Aired live on the Better Sports Network as well in the app. Make sure you download that app. And if you want to join us for some of these drafts and have fun with us, mess around, figure out what's going on with ADP, which is the big part of this. We also put $5 on these. You could do 3, 5, 10, 20, 500, whatever you guys want. You guys decide. But you sign up at Underdog, use promo code Fantasy Alarm, and they'll match up to $100. And then join us in the Fantasy Alarm Discord where we're setting all these up and we have a blast, hanging out with Brian, hanging with Jamie, hanging with Scamp, the gang. It's a good time. So make sure you're getting in with us and make sure you join us. Download the Better Sports app, 1 o'clock, doing big things now. Back to the draft.
My turn is beautiful, by the way. Just want to say.
Britt, I apologize for taking the player that I was going to take no matter what. Okay. I didn't mean to rub it in your face. Well, I did mean to rub it in your face, but I didn't mean for you to get upset. So I apologize. Love you. You're muted.
You're muted.
I stole your voice. I stole your voice like Little Mermaid. I Ursula your voice with that pick. I'm granting it back to you. Go ahead. Sing us a song.
I'm contemplating how to best screw you over in these last 5 rounds, Coop. I'm thinking, okay? I'm thinking.
Howard and Icy and everybody already stole my players. You can't kill what's already dead. I've already been murdered.
What are
true? And yeah, that's pretty true. That's true. And yeah, that's true. That's true.
You part of the Iron Islands now?
Yeah, so we're doing
dead may never die.
Trent says, is there one winner for each group? Is there like a big tourney? So next year we're gonna, or maybe even this year, we're gonna try and get a tourney set up that all of us. What we're gonna do now is for each one of these drafts, we're gonna do a badge on Discord, and then maybe whoever scores the most points, because they're all gonna be 12-team leagues, I think. Whatever is the overall highest point score, maybe they'll get a special badge, like the big time boss dog, because that's kind of how it works in best ball anyway. So I know Howard's got some friends over at Underdog. Maybe we can get an official tournament set up, but for now, we got the.
There is Lightning Round Best Ball Championship and a new info coming out in a couple weeks, by the way.
We got all that, man. And we're doing we're getting BB10 set up. I know that guys like Scott Frankel in Vegas and Jerry's in Hawaii, and you can't do best ball drafts. You can't do Underdog there. They don't like outside gambling, which makes a lot of sense for a gambling.
Damn it, Sellers.
He gotcha.
He got me.
Who do you take?
Laporta.
We're going to put everybody's name in a burn book hat at the end of this, and we're just going to write anonymously.
This is just basically a live stream manifestation.
I'm sure it'll be very anonymous.
Yeah.
Yes, we will, Brian. We will put the show info on Discord. It's the same show that we do. Maybe more guests because we have the power of Better Sports Network behind us. But it's going to be the gang hanging out, talking ball, playing ball. So that's going to be Tuesdays at 1, and then Wednesdays at 1 is the quick out. We get enough traction. Maybe we'll just do 1 o'clock every day. Why not?
I will say this, maybe for next week on our debut at 1 o'clock. If you like best ball, I think I might have the perfect person to bring on with us.
Ooh, secrets.
Coop, you know him personally.
Who is it? Can you tell me?
I can't tell you right now.
Ooh,
that's all I'm gonna say.
Off air secrets. There it is. John and Femba, quick out Monday through Friday. Why don't we just do football? I'll talk to Matt Deutsch. Football.
Let's just do a best ball draft every day. Let's go.
People want football. On the channel, we have so much. We have on Better Sports, we have Moose and Keith every day. They cover all the sports. I'm talking, these guys are like geniuses. Like Keith, talking basketball, dude. I know Britt had the Derby winning pick with Mage, but when it comes to betting horse races consistently, Mark Malusis is the guy I go to. So Moose and Keith, that show's at 10 o'clock. They have the Campus to Canton guys are over there. They have the game show with the Front Yard Fantasy guys at 3 o'clock. They have right now, I know we're not, actually just ended earlier, Lisa Ann and Rick Camlo. Like the lineup over there is a blast. but they cover all the sports. I think from 1 to 2 every day, if we could just do football, there's enough people that love football that they would tune in. So let's say I'm campaigning for it right now. What do you guys say? We'll mix a quick out. We'll mix a lightning round, 1 to 2 football every single day.
I'm in. Let's go.
Who says no? Who says no? Chat. Who says no? Looks like Toronto Dave's in with the alarm, baby. Oh yeah.
These quarterbacks are just flying. You know what else is flying is the tight ends too.
You know who
Yeah,
flies?
because Sellers took 2 back-to-back. Weirdo.
You dude, putting you guys back to back is my favorite thing. I wish we
This
could rig it
happens
so that
all the time. When we first started doing Underdog, when Underdog first launched, this happened all the time. We would sit out on our front porch, and I kid you not, I'm pretty sure the neighbors thought that we were in a domestic dispute because of how many times we sniped each other. It was insanity. And the fact that we are back to back yet again on this first one, I mean, it couldn't have been more perfect.
yeah, I mean, this is all ruthless in here. I mean, I'll tell you right now, we haven't even looked at it much. We'll look at some teams at the end if we have time. But dude, Obi-Wan's team, Obi-Wan Outlaw, he's also in the slow draft, man. He has a pretty good setup going so far. He has got Tua stacked with Waddle, and then he's got all your he's got so many classic best ball players, like Mike Williams, Terry McLaurin, Darren Waller. Like, this is a tough league, man. This is a tough one. This is why I'm good with these ones. So this is a typical 12-person, $5. Winner gets 50-something bucks.
Half PPR. Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to draft with you guys trying to win a big turn. I wouldn't want to draft with you guys trying to win like the puppy or trying to win like Best Ball Mania because we're not getting any advantage.
Right.
No, because we all keep sniping each other just for spite.
Well, it's all fantasy law members, so they're pretty sharp gamers, you know.
True
I
story.
still think it's for spite.
It's all it's all sharp gamers and sellers.
Oh wow.
That was a burn.
Shots fired. The seller's actually awesome at this. That's why I can say that.
Except for his Gabe Davis takes.
Oh, did he take Davis? Someone else took Davis. This one I saw.
No, I know. Just that comment on your on your tweet earlier.
He won't give up. And hey, who knows? The thing about Gabe Davis that I will admit is that he just seems like such a really good dude. I know that I was against him because of, you know, math and science and what I do for work, but he seems like a really good guy, like a funny guy to hang out with. He's got like he wears like the video game shoes and the Bert. Do you see his Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura shoes, the 2 Bear 1 Cave shoes? Like, just seems like a guy I would love to hang out with, even though he wouldn't want to hang out with me because I've tweeted about how I don't think he's that great at football.
Well,
Right,
that's why I'm trying to build the bridge. You're trying to destroy the bridge.
Yeah, I might have destroyed that bridge.
But
But
you're
he
like
gets
Homer with the match and you toss it behind you.
I got a job to do, man. I'm contractually obligated to tell the truth. I'm contractually obligated to say what I believe. You know, so what can I do?
No, you're
I mean,
right before to sell what you believe.
He also didn't catch many passes. All right, so what do you want me to do? Catch more passes. Be easier to do.
I mean, if points for being a good guy, I mean, I could have used those last year.
I'm friends with a lot of guys that didn't catch a lot of passes last year.
That's true.
None of my buddies, none of my personal friends caught any passes.
That's a bummer.
Not with that
Yeah.
attitude.
They did it on Thanksgiving.
What are you doing here, Coop?
I'm going to select a player. I think I'm going to take a rookie from your team.
Don't
Okay.
hate that.
Second round
That's
rookie.
what Sellers doing with 3 tight ends. What you doing?
I'm probably
big
be
boy?
drafting 3 tight ends, honestly.
I like his tight ends, though.
But
Cole Kmet
3
should be safe.
tight ends?
Laporta's upside. Trey McBride is early on while Ertz is banged up. Although he took Trey McBride like maybe like 100 years too early.
Yeah.
what's he doing?
That would have been a 17th, 18th round pick. But if you're going to take 3 tight, like that's the range where you have to take 3 tight ends and you have to take them like back to back to back or, 3 and 4 rounds like you did.
That's fair.
But yeah, Jaden Reed, I mean, Green Bay values scheme versatility more than anything. Guys that can play all 3 positions, X, Y, and Z, slot, flanker, and X. And Reed did a little bit all 3. So, I mean, they have those 3 guys in Watson, Dobbs, and Jaden Reed that can do all of those. So they can mix and match, which is great for Jordan Love. Then they drafted 2 tight ends to be able to help him in the middle of the field. So
it's anyone's game, man. Let's take a look at some of these teams because we got a couple rounds left. Let's pull up Jamie's team. Jamie, longtime Fantasy Alarm member, huge supporter, lover. Yep. She's got Justin Herbert, Geno Smith at quarterback.
Here, you pulled it. Oh, you pulled it up.
I pulled up the side thing. Yeah. Then she's got Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Cam Akers, Zeke Elliott, Tajay Spears, who I am in on, man. Like, especially for Dynasty. If you think about it, like you have Spears who had the medical issue, you had Sean Tucker who had the medical issue. Both before the draft, people love these guys. One of them went in the 3rd round. One of them didn't get drafted at all. So give me the guy who got drafted, right? Then we have for wide receiver, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Mike Evans, Jahan Dotson. That's touchdown factory. Just Dawson Knox and Gerald Everett. She needs tight ends now. This is the build she has so far. I would draft in a 12-team league. I would draft 4 tight ends. I would go 2 tight ends now to finish up this draft. I don't like doing 4 tight ends in the tournaments because I know that mathematically that's not a good mix. But if you have the build she has so far, I would go 2 more. Kev, do you ever draft 4 tight ends?
No, but like in a self-contained thing like this, it might not be so bad.
Right.
Tournament-wise, it's not very optimal, but if you draft a mid-round guy, you can usually just back end 2 tight ends there and go max 3. It's hard with a onesie position like that, especially like quarterback and tight end. I don't usually like to go 3. I'll usually take a elite or semi-elite guy. I'm taking Jelani Woods here, by the way, for the stack.
Numerically speaking, like 2 quarterback, it's 2 to 3 quarterbacks, but mostly 2. But if you look at TJ Hernandez puts a lot of them out over at 4 for 4. There's a lot of 3 tight end builds. The top 4 builds that had the highest advance rate were 3 tight ends. So 3 tight ends not bad. It should be 2 to 3, not that often 4, but just looking at what she's
not as egregious as quarterback.
Right. Okay, so let's take a look at I looked at Obi-Wan's team already. He's got pretty good. He's got Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, Damian Harris. He's got Tyreek Hill stacked with Tua. So pretty good squad there. What about let's take a look at Chauncey's team. Trent in the chat. So he's got. It keeps jumping on me. He's got at quarterback Jalen Hurts and Russell Wilson. Love that, man. I'm down for the bounce back for Russell Wilson. He's got at running back Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Zach Charbonnet, Jamal Williams, Devin Singletary. How do you guys, Britt, would you stack Kamara and Jamal Williams? Is that something you would consider doing?
I would bypass Kamara because I legitimately think that his suspension is going to come down hard and heavy. So I would have picked somebody else there. But if you think that it's going to be pushed off another year, kind of like how Zeke's was, and when that happened, he just continuously played week after week after week, then that's not a bad idea.
In the big tournaments, I don't like doing it. In this, self-contained league, not too bad. But it means you have to draft an extra running back. He's got Debo, DeAndre Hopkins, Judy, Gabe Davis, Odell, Zay Jones, and then Van Jefferson. And then for tight end, we're looking at Kyle Pitts and Tyler Higbee. If I have Kyle Pitts and Tyler Higbee, I'm not drafting anyone else. I'm just sticking with those 2.
Yeah, you're good there because you got the elite guy, and then you at least got a guy for bye weeks, and Higbee is solid enough where, Bryson Hopkins is going to be really competing for, routes or anything like that as long as he's healthy. So, or as long as Higbee's healthy. So, totally fine with those 2.
Yeah, I'm in Scamp. I think I'm with Scamp on this. I'm just if I know guys are missing games,
you're up, by the way.
Yeah, I know guys are missing a good chunk of games. Dude, I'm actually going to take Rondell Moore here. I still think there's an outside chance they trade Hopkins. So if I know guys are for sure missing a big chunk of games, Javonte, Kyler Murray, Kamara, Jamison Williams, who's been suspended for six games, it's just you're signing yourself up for what we're all scared of. Why would I draft Jamison Williams over Michael Thomas if we're scared that Michael Thomas might miss games? I mean, we know Jamison Williams is going to miss games. Jamison Williams could miss games, getting suspended, come back, and then get hurt. So why Why am I signing myself up for that nightmare situation? It's already hard enough. So I'll just take guys that are healthy. All right, here's a really stupid pick. How do you feel about the pick I just made just now?
You went. I would have probably grabbed another running back. Oh, who's your running backs? Eckler. Okay,
I would heavy. I would heavy, bro.
You've got 3, 4. 3 with a solid fourth. So I still want to go with a fifth.
I wouldn't only take 4. I wouldn't only take 4 running backs in a big tournament. But again, when you start running back, I've already made my bed, man.
Yeah. That's very important too, because you can totally kind of nuke your roster in a bad way by taking elite running backs and then just keep drafting running backs. Like that's how you get behind the 8 ball on wide receiver. That's how you get behind the 8 ball in every other position, really.
At this time tomorrow, we could know, like at this very time tomorrow, Austin Eckler and Jonathan Taylor and James Conner could all have the same bye week.
Oh yeah, that's another thing about drafting this early. We could all be so screwed.
Schedule comes out tomorrow.
Did anybody else
took 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends? We could all have bye weeks at the same time.
Yeah. Did anybody else go scour their lineups to see what Bengals and Chiefs you had for week 17? Because I definitely did a lot.
No.
Why we know they're going to be that. Is that the Germany game?
No, that's the week 17. They announced that. They announced that yesterday, but that's week 17. That's the New Year's Eve game.
Ooh, spicy. New Year's Eve game,
4 o'clock.
Black Friday game. I'm loving it, dude. I don't want more games on like Wednesday or Tuesday because that's a health issue, but Friday, Saturday? I mean, it is. If you make guys play on, it's already.
I know. I was thinking about like your health.
It's
you have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, if you have a Tuesday football games, dude, and I'm like, well, I got to crack beers. The Pats are on. Yeah, that is a health. That would be a health issue, right?
Yeah. We can take a look at some of these teams real quick. Once Jamie's finished with her pick, she's
And I just want to say, Brian says it best, dude. Brian guy, that was fun. Bedtime. I mean, yeah, he's 4:20 a.m. That's early in the morning, dude. So cheers. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody from the Fantasy Alarm family that jumped in. This is what's great about this is because this is how it goes when you draft with your friends, right? Like when I draft with my friends, they have my rankings and they go, haha, I took a guy, like that's how it goes. So like, if you want to get a look at a real draft with real people that make their own decisions, but also know you, jump in these Fantasy Alarm drafts. We're in the Discord. If you don't know how to get set up, email Britt, what's the email? The support email.
Support@fantasyalarm.com.
Yep. And we'll help you out right from there. DM me on Twitter @CoupeFiasco and we'll get you all set up. Go to Underdog. That's the first thing. And use promo code Fantasy Alarm. They'll match up to 100% of your deposit up to $100. Get set up there. And then once you're in the Discord, we'll get you set up. You go to the Best Ball channel. You say, I want in on a fast draft, which is this one, 1 hour, in and out, pretty good. Or slow draft. We have another one ongoing right now, 8-hour clock. You go to work, take a break, pick when you have a chance at lunch, doesn't matter, right? Eating a sandwich, picking T. Higgins, doesn't matter. That's how those work. So we're doing them all right now. Get in with us. We're having a blast. All right.
For sure. Absolutely. We'll just run through our teams real quick. Coop, Watson and Carr. Definitely like that combo. Eckler, Taylor, Connor, Mostert. I still kind of think you shorted a little bit, but I don't mind it because you got the elite guys at running back. T. Higgins, Amari Cooper, you got about 1 million wide receivers, so I don't hate it. Higgins, Cooper, Pittman, Thomas, Bateman, Collins, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jaden Reed, Rondale Moore, Chase Claypool,
all the boys,
Kittle, and Juwan Johnson.
Yeah,
don't hate it.
I think honestly, I didn't realize it was the 18th round, or I would have taken another running back. If I'm being honest, hey, I'm never gonna lie to you guys. Never gonna lie to you guys.
Britt with Josh Allen, Garoppolo, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco, A-Chain, Gibson, Gainwell. Definitely like the running backs, although not an elite guy. But if you think about Gibbs possibly taking that step, I understand the play. Diggs, London, Cooks, Flowers, Hyatt, Boyd, Shakir, Tank Dell, Andrews, Kincaid, likely. You know what? I know we're kind of up against it as far as time, so we will. You know what? Let's do this on. We'll roast these teams online. We'll do that on Twitter.
Yeah, let's go to the
And
Discord.
Trent, no limit to how many you can get in, but we're gonna let other people get in first. I got you on the wait list for the next one. All right, Kev, take us out, man.
All right, we are out. We will. Yeah, next time you see us, it'll be on Better Sports Network at 1:00 Eastern. So I got these out too, Britt.
I didn't get the memo that we were wearing sunglasses, but toodles, guys.
You're in the Lightning House. The memo is evergreen.
Toodles.